Okay, let's make some fabric business cards. This is again Shapr3D. This is the view we get right when we open it up. We're going to import some DXF files that I just purchased, little chickens. And you can get DXF files on Etsy. You can convert them. This is just a simple way to do it. I think they were like $1.10. And now I have 12 chickens that have already been drawn out. I'm going to just select the one that I want, which is this one. Double click it and that selects everything that is connected. Hit the M button and move this over out of the way. Then I can take these and I can just delete all these. I don't want them. Okay, and now we have our chicken. You may be asking, what the heck, why is there a chicken? Okay, so next thing we do here as we scroll out, we'll see that these grids get bigger. Up in this right hand corner we see that to scale is 50 millimeters, so we want to drop that down. We're going to go down until it says 10 millimeters, and we'll right click this, or left click this, and then lock grid size. That way when we scroll back out, it's all easy to stay to scale. Now we're going to start at the origin right here. Let's go 90 and 50. There we go. Now we have this rectangle. Select one of the outside edges. Come here to this offset edge. And we're going to make this, let's go 2 millimeters. And I'm hitting the escape button, but to exit out of the sketching mode, you can also hit this exit sketching, and this will then create the faces that we can extrude into three-dimensional objects. So we're going to make this 1.2 millimeters tall. And then we're going to add some text. So we're going to sketch again. Going to add some text here, and let's go at Kaizen 3D prints. Going to keep that bold. And we can move this up. You can also center it. Here if we select these and hit the move button again, these little pink dots show the center point of any of our bodies. So we can move this over. And then we can click and drag. We'll say, okay, I want the midpoint to line up to that, and then you'll see regardless of where I'm dragging it, that shows me the center point. So now I can take that. That will tell me this is exactly in the center. And then let's do one more. We're going to say one layer at a time. And we're going to do the same thing. Hit that done button. Once you hit the done button, you can't go back, so you have to recreate the text. Here we'll move. And again, I just want to tap that midpoint with whatever I'm trying to line it up with. I can do the same thing if I want to do multiple points. I could then drag this over here, and this would show up exactly center. So you can play around with it. Okay, bring that right here. Perfect. And this next part is a little inside joke. I'm making this card for an example, but she saw it and she said it needs a chicken. So I'm going to move this over here. That's way too big. So I'm going to hit the S button and my scale feature is going to pop up. So this is the scale. If I press S again, it's going to give me 3 dimensions that I can scale it in. Because it's just a line file, there's no three-dimensional on the Z. So here I can scale it down. I want to scale it down universally just so everything's kept proportion. Or keeps its proportion. There we go. Okay, maybe a little smaller. And we're going to move this in the middle. A little bit smaller. And it's just going to be one chicken. Okay, great. I'm going to go back into that sketch mode, and we want to drag this center point to the center of the chicken. I can make sure, yeah, that's perfectly in the center. Awesome. Okay, so now we can go and select these either individually. I'm going to turn this sketch off for my chicken. We're going to make this chicken, let's make it the same height. No, let's make it less than the card. So let's just make this 1 millimeter tall. And then we'll turn our other sketch back on. And now I can shift click and select all the faces. Oops, accidentally selected an edge. Or you can drag and then hit the tab button to select only the faces. And then we'll have to deselect the center points that we don't want to extrude. And hit the E button. It's a shortcut for extrude. We can either drag this up, or we can just say, well, I want it 1 millimeter. Okay. You can also angle if you want to give it some sort of draft on other objects. We're going to keep that 0 degrees. Okay, and we'll do the same thing here. And then, get all the faces selected and deselect the ones that we don't want. Okay. Type in 1, extrude that 1 up, and I just realized that because we're printing this face down, it does need to be all the same height. So we're just going to drop this one down to 1 millimeter. Export this as an STL and print it up. Here we have imported the STL file to our Bambu slicer. We're just going to change a couple of settings here, go through, we're going to resync these, and I want to make this chicken white. Go into the paint tab up here, the colors and the type of paint you want to do. I just have mine selected on fill and smart fill angle all the way up. And let's make this a different pink. This is just what I have loaded in right now. Okay, and what do we have? 1, 2, 3, and then we'll do the border as the matte. I think we got 3 pinks in here now. Okay, so for our changes that we make, we change, since I'm printing on a fine power mesh, it's 0.24 millimeters tall, thick. So we're going to change the initial layer height to 0.24 and that layer height to 0.24 as well. This stays 0.5, and I'm going to come down here and change the wall generator down to Arachne, just my preferred method. We're going to keep these bottom surface pattern, top surface pattern monotonic. And we're going to come over to speed, and I've found that with the P-flat sheets that I use for the effect, the holographic effect, 35 millimeters for that initial layer works well. And when I'm printing with the generic PLA, just 7.5, and printing on fabric, I generally print at 75 millimeters a second. And then we drop the travel down. I cut this in half when I print in fabric. 2500, not 25,000. Top surface, still cut that in half. And then we'll slice the plate. Here it says 34 minutes. Fabulous with these color changes. I'm going to come around here, and I want to click this lay on face. And we're going to click that. That way it's face down now. And when I slice the plate, looks good. We'll come down here and we're going to pause it 1 layer before the top so we have a little bit of depth. Okay, jumping in here and making a quick edit. We had stated that we wanted the height 1 millimeter. My brain was thinking illusion mesh, which is 0.2 millimeters thick. So I'm going to bump the whole thing up to 1.2 millimeters since our layer height is 0.24. That will make 5 layers. That way we can end or add the pause at the 4th layer, the second to the last. Or we can add our fabric, and this will be our first test print. So we are going to send this off to Phoenix, and we'll see you in 35 minutes. The pause command has taken effect. I have placed my 60 millimeter by 10 millimeter by 3 millimeter magnets onto the fabric to help hold the tension. We can see it extruding through that mesh, adhering to the layer below it. Peeling away the print is always the most satisfying thing. All that's left to do is trim away the excess fabric. The end result, and all it took was just one layer at a time.